Well, hey folks, I just thought I'd tell you a little story. We'll call it story time with Die Hard. So rewind, it's 2010. It's October. Just the start of October. But the first weekend, I was out cutting the hedge in the garden, or hedges. And I was out doing that for an hour or so, say. I stopped for a cigarette break. Left shoulder a bit sore. Just assumed it was the hedge cutter. So carried on, back out, done a bit more, got finished up in that. Shoulder continued to be sore for what was about 9 days, just as if I'd pulled a muscle basically, which I'd done many a time before. So after the 9th day, I was going to my bed that night. I just felt my heart was beating a little bit different, which is bizarre, because how often do you notice your heart beating at all? You just assume it's pumping away. So I said to myself, if that's not any different in the morning, I better go and get checked out. My mum and dad, they were coincidentally in Florida until I think they came home on the Saturday, and this was the Sunday night. So Monday morning I goes up to my work, I opened up, waited till mum and dad come in about 10ish probably, and I said, here, I'm going up to get checked out here, I've got a sore shoulder and I feel as if my heart's beating a little bit different from what it normally does. And they're like, alright then son, on you go. So I jumped in my BMW coupe that I had at the time. Or it wasn't a coupe, it was a 3-door hatch in fact, a 130i BMW. And I took myself up to Hare Myers Hospital in East Kilbride, where I went up to the desk and you give them your symptoms, or whoever you're with symptoms, what's wrong with them, etc. And I sat down in the waiting room seat, and no sooner than my ass had sat down in the seat, somebody came through, shouted my name, and the place was jumping as well. I couldn't believe how busy it was. Monday morning, and there's people in there bleeding all over the place and stuff. So I got a blood test taken, and within an hour a young doctor in her 20s, I would say, yeah, early 20s, comes in and says, yeah, Mr. McLean, you've had a heart attack. And I'm thinking, shut up. I didn't say that to her. I did actually say to her, that's impossible. I said, I'm only 32. I said, you must have somebody else's notes. You've all heard this on the TV before. At one point somebody said this. You must have somebody else's notes. So that's what I said exactly. And she says, no, unfortunately not. So they kept me in. I got a stent put in. I had a blocked artery, so they do a thing called an angiogram on you, where they keep you awake and they shove a wire basically up either your wrist or your groin, up a vein, you know. So I was blown away with the thought that they can even do this, you know. I thought this is mind-blowing surgery stuff. So up my wrist they went, into the heart. There was a collapsed or blocked artery, completely blocked. Another one was partially blocked, and you've got 4, I understand. So 1 and a bit one and one of the other ones were partially blocked. So they put a stent in, which is a little steel pipe. It's all done through the same insertion as they do with the angiogram, and they put this little bit of pipe in, and it stretches open, and it opens the artery back up again. So all was good. Still having pains in my left shoulder. That was the 18th of October. I got told I had the heart attack. So by the following March, I'd been off my work since. By the following March, I had another appointment for another angiogram to see the other artery. So they done that again, put another stent in, the partial blocked one, and to this day I've still got the same pain now and again in my left shoulder. I've just learned to live with it, but it was pretty scary at first, because every time you have a pain in your left shoulder after having a heart attack at 32, did I say that? That was only 32? I was only 32 at the time. Oh, I did say that in fact. Every pain and niggle you get, you feel it that wee bit more once you've had heart surgery of any sort. I think it's just the fact they've been poking about in there. So now we're 11 years on and I'm still alive, touch wood. I take 5 tablets every night in life, which keeps me alive, and it's no problem. It's easy enough to deal with. I'm not allowed to go for saunas. I'm not allowed to drink grapefruit juice. 2 things I took note of that I've been told not to. They advise you not to smoke, obviously. They say that, no, they don't tell you not to drink, because alcohol thins the blood, so that makes your heart pump a little bit easier, unless you've already got thin blood, I suppose, to begin with. So all these years on, I still can't believe it that I'm still alive and I'm on my second life here. If I'd left it any longer to go to A&E, they reckoned I would have eventually just keeled over, and whether somebody got me an ambulance in time, we'll never know. So I just thought I'd share that little story with you. It's one of them interesting ones. Okay, it's not really that interesting, but how many folk do you know at 32 that have had a heart attack? There's a guy at my kids' karate who's a copper, and he's 42 and he's just had a triple bypass. He's not overweight, he's healthy as far as I'm aware, don't think he smokes either. It's just your luck, like anything else, folks. So they sent me for cardio physiotherapy, which I called old man aerobics, and it was me and a bunch of, sometimes up to 12, 15 other guys. The youngest one was 44 after me, the rest were all in their 50s, 60s, 70s. There was guys there who were PE teachers, semi-pro rugby players, marathon runners. Very few heavy folk. I was overweight at the time. I was 15 stone at the time. Now I'm about just under 13 stone. I lost 3 stone virtually within a couple of months after it. I hit the gym hard for, I think it was about 8 months in fact. I hit the gym, I was going 3 and 4 times a day. But after the heart attack I wasn't even allowed to walk the dog for like a month. I had to go a 10 minute walk, and that was 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back. and that was the walk I had to go. So it was a rude awakening. The years leading up to that, from 2007 onwards, I'd been an avid gamer on the PlayStation 3, and I was giving it 8 hours a day playing it. It was just too much. Sitting on my ass, smoking cigs, drinking fizzy juice and eating chocolate and shit. But not moving much is my whole point. Sitting there still, basically swearing at the TV. So I still played, I still gamed after it for a few months, I think. Thought it was great. I had all these months off work, so I could play COD even more. But never ever went back to it again. I don't even know what happened. I just chucked it all together. My son's not even a big gamer. He's got an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One and a PS4, but he doesn't even use any of them really. He's not big on gaming. So whether he subconsciously doesn't game because I used to extreme game and he's seen what happened to myself. But there's nothing against video games. I don't hold any grudges. It's all put down to personal choice and preference and your lifestyle. So I'll continue the heart attack story, shall I? Since I stumbled across the clips that you've just seen, and thought I never really finished off that story. So why did you have a heart attack? Why did I have a heart attack? Well, when I asked the professionals this, they don't know. They can't say it's, oh John, it's because you were smoking 30 cigarettes a day, you were eating too much cheese, too much fried foods, too big an appetite, not moving enough, not exercising enough. But they don't know all that. It's only me that knows all that. So when I expect them to give me an answer at first, you're expecting a miracle, you know. They don't know your lifestyle. So I don't smoke 30 a day anymore, put it that way. I cut it right down to 4 a day at one point. And then slowly it's crept up over the years. I maybe smoke about 10 or 12 a day. 10 in a good day, 12 in a bad day. But the thing that didn't really put me off the smoking was very few of the people I met at the cardio rehab had been smokers. They weren't smokers. Some of them had smoked when they were kids and chucked it as they got older, but I can't actually think of any one of them who was a smoker and still smoked. I don't think there was one. I'd said that there was no heavy people, but there was one guy I've remembered since who was a GP, believe it or not, like a doctor at a local surgery. Like, I'm not even going to Erskine Bridge, I can't be bothered. Too windy. Don't want to get blown over a bridge while I'm trying to tell a story. So there was a guy who was a GP. He was about 25 stone, this dude. And after the cardio rehab classes, sometimes he left the car park about the same time as me, and I'd see him going straight across to KFC for a little greasy bucket of chicken. Which ideally is not what you want to be eating not long after having a heart attack. Everything in moderation. So you can still eat your KFC or your McDonald's or whatever you like. But as long as you're not doing that every meal, and I do still eat I still eat quite a lot of crap, but I don't eat as much as I used to. I just don't have an appetite like I used to, for some bizarre reason. So all good at my end. 11 years past. The 18th of October 2010 it was. So there you go, thanks for listening to that story, folks. Peace out and take it easy. Cheers. Thanks for watching.